If you're new here, I'm Heather. I am a divorce coach. What led me to this career, and a little bit about myself and my story and my passion for this work, it comes from living through my own experience. So, 2 weeks after we became empty nesters, my youngest went off to college. My husband asked me for a divorce. I did not want a divorce at the beginning. I realized that my vision of being empty nesters and traveling around the world was not going to happen. And in short, I was initially devastated. I had to take some time off work, process things, and then get myself together. And I snapped into project management mode, which was like my professional self, and like got the house up for sale, got the papers together, like got through it. And then 3 years later, what I did to get through it was focus on variables I could control. And once I realized I had totally lost myself. I also really focused on strength training on my body. That strengthening my body and mind was something I could control. And focusing on my nutrition, I had never focused on nutrition or strength training or anything before. So this was totally new, but it gave me something to put that trapped energy into. I emerged 3 years later, 90 pounds lighter, connected again to my style and wellness. I experienced just really a total glow up, career makeover. I transformed my healing experience really all on my own. And now my life's mission is to help others do the same. So let's take a step back and go back to the beginning of the story. When there's an unexpected moment, once the paperwork and other logistics are all worked out, there's something no one really prepares you for. And that is when you realize your entire identity shifted. And that's what I mean when I say I lost myself. There's a time where you have to kind of realize you need some steps to get through this. And I'm going to go over the exact 3 steps that can help you here. So, what I see time and time again with so many high performing women, just like I was, high performing at work, high performing with project managing, family, and everything else in my kids' lives and every aspect of my life. You are a leader. You lead teams, project manage the family, all while under pressure, and probably are handling or handled most of the divorce. That's very common. But where you struggle is somewhere in developing self-trust. So let me walk you through these 3 phases of rebuilding your life after divorce. It's not to minimize anything else you go through. These are a roadmap to show you what actually works. So when I talk about phase one, stabilize, these are sequential and should actually go in order. This is often where most people skip right ahead and just want to get on with life. Um, it's important not to skip stabilize. You can stay stuck if you just disregard some of the processing you need to do. You can't rebuild your life from emotional chaos, period. What does emotional chaos look like? If you're there, it feels like you're overthinking everything. Your emotions are all over the place. You're looking for external reassurance. That is a key factor in this. Your instinct, it's not your intuition, but your instinct is to look for something familiar, comfortable. Start dating, make decisions. Move on quickly. I struggled with this too because I just wanted the pain to be over. Remember, I said I was project managing and I was busy and busy, busy, busy. I was so busy, I wasn't processing any emotion. So once I got into my new place and it was quiet, I was struck by how much emotion I had built up. And it was chaotic, all right. And if I would have started dating, it would have been completely struggling and building from the same foundation I had just left behind. So I wasn't in a place to actually process it there, but just let me tell you and assure you that you need to have this stage stabilized. So let's talk about more about that. If you don't stabilize first, you will absolutely recreate the same patterns. The person or situation might be different, but you will be building your life from that same foundation. So let's reframe. Slow down your decisions. Slow down because your intuition and your fear, your nervous system is just trying to regulate. And you need to slow down, sleep in between, give yourself space, regulate your body, not just your thoughts. So remember, clarity comes after stability, not before it. So again, clarity comes from calm. So we're going to stabilize, right? And then phase two is reconnecting. And we're talking about where you come back to yourself and reconnect to yourself. And let me be real and like as clear as I can about this. You have lost touch with yourself because you prioritize everybody, everything, and everyone else. We all have. And especially if you're over 40, I'm 52. I'm solidly Gen X, and we were taught not to take care of ourselves, not to neglect ourselves, but self care was indulgent. It was selfish. It was almost a badge of honor to really martyr yourself and take care of everyone else. So, this is new for a lot of us. It certainly was for me, focusing that energy on variables you can control, like I did with my health and wellness. That was the first time I was 49 years old that I ever really focused on that. I have an autoimmune disorder that came out 10 years ago that is brought on by stress. And it's similar to Crohn's disease. It's ulcerative colitis, and I got pretty sick with it. Um, and there is no cure for it, and I've had it for 10 years. Point being, very big result of not focusing on my self-care. So now, as you shift your energy towards yourself, you're asking, what is it that I want? What do I value? Who am I now? Right? And that is identity work. It's not surface level. This is deep. And that's how you can notice your patterns. And you also start to calm. Remember, calm. Intuition is getting confused with anxiety in our survival mode. So you start to separate and connect again with your intuition, which is always calm. It's not frantic. It's going to separate from anxiety because remember, in survival mode, you're using literally a different part of your brain. So everything's on fire, everything's like, I want to get over with. And you're in survival mode for an extended period of time as you go through a divorce. So now you slow down, you start to hear your voice. And by nature of hearing your voice, you're going to start to connect with your intuition and separate it out from anxiety because it gets all muddled when you're in survival mode for extended periods. And to be clear, you're not confused. It's just a disconnection. It takes time. It takes awareness is the biggest driver of change. So just noticing your pattern, just noticing, write it down. Our minds spiral, and writing stuff down actually organizes those spirals and puts finite connections to an organization of our thoughts. Let's talk about phase 3. Reinventing. So reinventing is where people want to get to. But again, this has to be sequential. If you know it's coming and you know you're going to get there, you're doing it a bit differently and you know that you will get there. Just have that in the back of your mind. But also remember, to be effective, it stems from something I just said, which is awareness, noticing patterns. And to have that awareness, you can't be in a heightened fear state. And that I'm again referring to as survival mode. So at this time, you're going to be sort of noting down your patterns. You have to be aware and not in fear. When you're in fear, you're not able to note and notice patterns as much. And something starts to shift. Your standards are going to change. Your boundaries are going to become clear. I think that your life really starts to reflect who you are. This is your reinvent stage, and you're not starting over. You know how much, especially for all those people who are over 40, over 50, catching me at 52, we have so much life experience, and that is called wisdom, people. Like, we have so much of wisdom. We're not starting over, we're starting from experience. Remember that, and it's so important. And if you're going through this, if you're in this season right now, you're not behind. You don't have to catch up. You're in the middle of a transition, and that requires awareness and intention and effort, but most of all, calm. And when you go through these phases the right way, that is sequentially and moving on when you're ready, you don't just rebuild your life, you're going to elevate your life. You're going to start your newness from a new foundation. You're going to break those old patterns. And stay in touch. This is about building community. I too looked at my ex-husband when I was 49 and he was asking me for a divorce and thought, I'm too old to do this. I don't ever want anyone feeling like that again. There are more women entrepreneurs over 50 than any other group. So we are like a bunch of badasses that have to remember that, follow along for honest conversations, practical information. I would love to hear from you. And if you're thinking about dating again or anything else, anything I can provide that helps anybody, please let me know. I have some free resources. I'll be calling them out over the next few weeks, but like a ready to date again quiz. just to give you some feedback on the stage you're in, just to evaluate, just something fun. I have that comment ready to date if you would like to try that out. And I have some other free resources. This is my first longer form video, and I was so thrilled to get a few requests for those. So I am here to share. I'm here to build community. I'm Heather. Please subscribe, and I hope to see y'all again. Thank you.